Three, two, one. Hey, it's Amy with Ask a Christian, and I just wanted to say thank you for to Braden for this week's question, and also want to say I tried to record this yesterday. So if you were one of the 10 people who tried to watch it live and it kind of tapered off, yes, big apologies. We had a sewage problem yesterday, so I had started recording and then got a phone call and totally forgot to come and delete that video and redo it again. So this is a repeat of what you saw yesterday. And just want to say to Braden, appreciate you sending this question in. You say that your friends and family call you a philosopher because you have been looking into Christianity and pondering some of the different aspects. You definitely are. I can tell that you are a deep thinker from this question. So, ooh, look, I'm blending into my background. Love it. Just a quick look at Braden's question, and then I'll kind of summarize it. So he says, it's described and depicted, as far as I'm aware, that a snake convinced Adam to eat the apple. That part is obvious. So going back, God gave humans a soul, and therefore we gained free will. Animals don't have that level of free will as they have no soul. Arguably, an animal without free will can be seen as controlled by God. The only reason God can't control or make decisions for humans is because we have a soul and their free will. With this in mind, isn't God responsible for making the snake to persuade Adam to eat the forbidden fruit? All right. A lot of things going on in here, Braden. Again, I can't tell you are thinking. So I'm going to remove the soul part from this discussion because um, um, there are a lot of different viewpoints on what the soul is and if humans have one or are one. I'm in the category of reading the Bible where it says that God's breath plus humanity formed in the flesh equals a living soul. So I don't think that really bears anything out with this question because it's really about free will and who has it, humans or animals. And I would say that you're right in that assumption that God has given humans free will, and so they can better decide. And God has not necessarily given animals free will in the same way, in that they don't have the higher thinking powers. They're really going on built in instinct and maybe even chemical reactions that are happening in their body and brain, which humans are subject to too. We just have that higher power that can overrule those. So, yes, if that were the case, if that was all part of the discussion and there was nothing else, you would be totally right. That seems like it would be unfair of God to create a situation um, where an animal who didn't have free will was made to, or even allowed to, chat with humans and cause them to fall into sin. Here's the part that is not explicit in Genesis that I think requires a little bit of Bible study and understanding. When the original audience was putting together what we call the Bible, this library of lots of different books, they kind of had a common understanding. Um, if you were to be part of that original audience, you would have had century upon century upon century of deep Israelite knowledge about this wisdom literature. And putting all of that together for us is difficult. It almost means we need to have kind of a complete understanding of the Bible. It means we need to put ourselves in the shoes of that original audience. So allow me to do that a little bit for you, a little bit of a shortcut. A lot of scholars understand that snake is not actually just a regular run-of-the-mill snake, but that snake was used in kind of a manner of puppetry by the enemy of God, the Satan. That means adversary. And we have transliterated that word into Satan. So we'll say Satan or the devil. So Satan or the devil has used the beautiful snake in the garden and either made a puppet out of it or just through his voice or whatever. And approached Eve about eating the fruit of the tree that was expressly forbidden for them. So that little bit of knowledge kind of changes things. And I won't take long in that we can do an additional Bible study. But there are Bible verses that kind of lend to our understanding that that was actually another being with free will in the garden. So if you fast forward in the Bible to the end of the story, Revelation 12 and Revelation 20, you'll find a couple of verses I'll read here. It says, "So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." This is an indicator to us that that snake was the serpent of old, called the devil. And then we have another such thing in Revelation 20. It says, "He laid a hold of the dragon, that serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years." So we have two verses that point to the adversary of God showing up like a serpent or even like a dragon to humanity. And so that leads to, I mean, I guess that puts down on paper the ideas that that culture had, that evil in the garden, that force that was trying to tempt Adam and Eve from straying from the path of God into following their own intelligence, their own ways, and their own laws, was none other than the epitome of evil, who we call Satan or the devil. So that changes it a little bit, and that might add to your question, which is is God fair by doing that? Well, if God were actually allowing another power, another government with free will to approach humanity so that humanity could choose between his way, which he outlined in their walks and talks in the garden, and this other entity, this other idea, this other government system, then not only would God be fair and just in doing this, he would be more than fair. He would be allowing for choice and we call it in media like the equal time laws. He would be providing equal time for another being, another government to share their ideas about how to rule the earth. So that's what we believe God was doing by allowing that serpent in the garden. And just probably your next question might be like, well, why did he show up as a serpent? Um, this is not necessarily biblical. It's just philosophical. Many people believe that because Adam and Eve may have been warned about this other government, this other potential leader, perhaps he felt like it was unsafe to show up as an angel in heaven as he had once been. Perhaps he thought that it was only by disguising himself that he could get Eve's ear. So I'll leave it there. This is obviously a much bigger question about the character of God, and I appreciate you thinking about that stuff. All right. If you want to send me your questions, if you want to do additional Bible study on that, you can hit me up at askachristianfriend@gmail.com. And I hear my baby waking up from her nap in the other room, so I'll put it there. Thanks. Bye.